specific object. You can also create validation rules on specific object. So these validation rules you can deactivate and deactivate whenever you need. So currently, when I am starting this class, the two validation rules are deactivated. Now I am activating again. Okay. Now yesterday I have activated one validation rules, and I am activating one more validation rule now by clicking on edit. There is a simple checkbox to make it active or inactive. Okay. Clicking on edit. So here is a simple option to check the validation rule is active, to make them active. Okay, to make this active, I'm clicking on save. Before saving, I want to explain the thing what I am doing here. I have a simple R loop where this is getting fired if any of these things are true. Okay, if an annual revenue greater than $20 billion also I am going to fire, because $200 billion means it's not a small revenue. There are very less companies in very rare companies, right? So I am keeping account revenue should always be one second. If account revenue is greater than this amount, or if amount is less than 0, because in this validation rule I have not only kept it should not negative, it should not be too much more also. Some people will enter false data like putting $500 billion. Okay, that's really there are no companies which is having that much big revenues also. That's the reason I'm picking this simple validation rule. Okay, what this will check is if annual revenue is less than 0, this rule will be getting fired, because R loop will be true if any of the conditions, there are two conditions inside this, if any of the conditions is true, the R loop will be getting fired, and this will throw a validation rule. If annual revenue is less than 0, okay, it will fire. If annual revenue is greater than $20 billion also, it's gonna fire. Okay, now, so if any of these conditions are true, this rule is going to be getting fired. Okay, checking syntax will always give truth because it's already saved validation rule. It won't give any problems for me. Let's do one thing. Let's remove the E at the end of the annual revenue field. What is annual revenue field? Annual revenue is a field in the account object, because as we are running validation rules on account object, you are going to see the validation rules of, so you're going to see the fields of only that object only. You're not going to see the fields of other objects. Now I'm clicking on check syntax. Now this will throw an error for me saying this field is not available. See, field annual revenue does not exist, check spelling. Okay, and check syntax. Now this will save properly, and annual revenue should be more than 0 and less than. So the error message I am giving properly. At the field level I am showing the error message. Clicking on save. Now go to the create new account. Okay, create new. So yesterday we are executing this validation rule. We should enter only 7-digit code. Otherwise it will error. This is 7-digit account number. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's make it 6-digit number. Account site I am giving some bad value, and account name also I am giving Reliance. Okay, Reliance, and account number I am giving as this. Okay, some simple number. This is the number field. I am trying to click on save. Now I will get a error message saying you should account number is not numeric. You must enter a 7-digit value. Okay, this is yesterday's validation rule. Let's see. Because even though if you are entering any, if you are not entering annual revenue, it won't throw any error. But if you are entering minus $34, then clicking on save, you'll get error saying the annual revenue should be more than 0 or less than 20 billion, 200 billion. Okay. Now let's see. I want to give. Okay, this is exactly 1 digit above this value, and I'm clicking on save. I'll get the same error. Now I am giving this error as 8 and I am clicking on save. Now this error will be gone and I will get only this error because this is satisfied, this is not satisfied because this is more than 20 billion. Okay? $200 billion. Okay? So let's do one thing, let's remove one more zero. So let's remove 1 0. Okay, I have removed only one digit at the end. I'm clicking on save. Now this will save real properly into the database because this is less than 0 and greater than. So this is greater than 0 and less than $20 billion. So we can do this type of validation rules. And coming here, I am going to use examples now. Click on edit. So here is the similarly, so Salesforce will provide help on this page and examples also, generic examples on lead, account, contact, all this stuff. So this you can refer and you can try out examples on your personal organization, which is with you on your personal account. Okay. So here are account validation rules, simple account validation rules, account address validation rules, account validation rules, call center validation rules, all this stuff. Okay. If I click on expand, you will check the account address validation rules. See. So these are validation rules for billing postal code of Canada billing postal code. Okay. For Canada billing postal code. And they have kept some complex validation rule. So all these things are available in formula functions, not a regular expression. REGEX is the regular expression. Okay, what it is saying is billing postal code should contain only the letters available in this given brackets, the square brackets. Okay, right? So this is the regular expression. So you are going to use regular expressions only when you are developing the complex formula rules. Okay, and so there is one more validation rule to check whether your entered zip code is in this particular region or not, whether it is in particular billing state or not. So here is the validation rule for that. What you are going to do is you are going to create a object. You are going to create an object and you are going to store all the zip codes and their specific state in a separate object. And you are going to reference this. You are going to refer that particular object to validate whether this zip code is a valid zip code in that particular state. For suppose some people what they will do is they will use a zip code of San Francisco, some small region inside San Francisco, and they will map the city as Seattle. The generic systems we are not going to validate because we are not doing that much validation on our simply entering data, right? If you want to do that type of validations, you first create the master data in separate object saying for this zip code is contained in this state. You create an object of all this data and you reference this object whenever you are going to save the data. The validation rules will verify this object and we are going to check whether this particular zip address belongs to this state or not. If it does not belong to the state, it will throw some error saying, "Hey, this your zip code is wrong." Right? So going to the previous page, I'm going to share this link to you all in our charter organization so that you guys can check this at any point of time. Again, what I'm doing is I'm adding the charter tab to my application. For suppose you already have logins to my organization. For suppose if you want to have some custom tab added to this, because your administrator added only home, foodies, restaurant, check-in, accounts, and contacts. Personally, you think that charter tab is required in this application, then click on plus sign, click on customize tabs, do it yourself now, and click on charter, add this, okay, and put it to the top. Click on save. This is your personal custom settings. You can customize your tabs according to your requirement. The users of the system can also customize their tabs by clicking on customize tabs. Okay, these are specific to user. Now I'm clicking on this, and I'm going to post this validation rules in study documents. Okay, sorry. There's a group called study docs. I think that you guys have to act. You should be more active in charter group for running things. Or I can say that I'm going to post a link. Here is the link. What is the link name? Salesforce validation rules. Okay. Salesforce validation rules. For standard objects. Okay. So consider this as this is your assignment for this week, and try to work on this. Okay, now I can mention you guys like Rao, also Sai, right? Sai Kiran, okay, and Ram Prasad, right? Okay, and who else? Shetty. Sharad. I think I'm missing this person's name. Yeah. So someone can mention. I think I don't know what name I give. Sharad or. Okay. Shetty Kotha, right? So I think I'm not finding your name properly. Sorry for that. I think for other two people, Sneha, I have not created the organization login here. Okay. Okay, Shai and Shetty are same. Sorry. Okay. And who is missing then? Okay. Ram Prasad, Sai. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for Sneha and Kruti, right, who is joining the class from today, I'm going to share login by end of today, okay? I can extend the class for them for today for explaining the previous classes, and I will share the videos to all the guys. So this is the documentation I just posted to you. I have mentioned you 4 people, means you will get a notification even to your mobile also. If you open your mobile application, Salesforce One mobile application which you installed in your phone, you will get notification saying, hey, Venkat has assigned some task to you. You can work on this, okay? And you guys can even comment if you have questions on this. This is how general, very top companies who are using Salesforce are using collaboration cloud for internal purposes, okay? I think this is a project for us. Let's do one more thing. I will create a project group, and I will assign some simple assignment to you after the end of 2 weeks, where you're going to develop some application from the learnings of this class. And coming back to So you guys can choose any one of the object and try these things. Okay, don't spend much time on the validation rules also, because we have many things to do. And coming back to um, and one of the important thing is objects, validation rules on any object. And let's open an object or object footy. What all things? Okay, this is the footy object. So we are done with standard fields, because whenever you are creating object, you are going to create a field called name field, right? Footy name. That's it asks you when you are creating object. And the other fields like created by, last modified by owner field is created by default by Salesforce. And there's one more field which is very important field, that is the primary field of this object called ID field. That's a unique field. For every record inside a footy object, you are going to identify this. Okay. Let's do one thing. I'm going to show you one more tool called Workbench today. Workbench.developer.post.com is a application which is on cloud again. So when you are developing Java applications, you are going to use Eclipse, which is offline, right? Again, you are going to use some tools which are available in your desktop. But when you are working with Salesforce, you can do everything on cloud, on browser. Even your coding also, you can do it on cloud. And we have some separate options also for developing the coding in like in Eclipse also. But as it's a cloud app, you have everything that can be done in cloud. Now click on login to Workbench. Whenever you log into the organization, it won't ask you your password when you log into Workbench. As I logged in already in the other tab, right? It didn't ask me any login information. It just said whether this is a production or sandbox. I will speak about production sandbox for 5 minutes, because this is really important whenever you are trying to log in, whenever you are trying to deploy some things. Okay, this is really useful in projects. For suppose there is a company, AT&T company, they got some server from Salesforce, that is Salesforce.com server for their CRM application, complete sales, marketing, and servicing application. Okay, so all the enterprise applications, right? They do need some sample server, simple testing or developing server for developing the application and testing it before. So generally enterprises don't directly take the directive. They just try the application and later on they said that we are going to move to Salesforce CRM, right? What they will do first, they will take the free developer organization, free organization from a month organization which you are getting from login.salesforce.com, and they will try the application. If the application is really good, features are good, what they will do, they will buy the licenses from Salesforce. They won't buy, if there are 50,000, 40,000 sales employees, they won't buy all the licenses first. They will buy first 100 or 200 licenses, production licenses, to test first with some set of users in the company. They will first launch in some small area. They will try whether this application is working for them, or is it really productive, or is it bringing more revenues for the company or not. After taking the production organization from Salesforce, you have an option to create sandboxes. What are sandboxes? Sandbox means a test environment. A test environment, single environment like production, where you are going to develop applications and deploy to your production, because your production organization is the important organization where a lot of people are using it. If you are writing some validation rule which is really wrong, it will affect a lot of users, right? So before doing that, you are going to try each and everything in your sandbox by putting a validation rules. You create validation rules, or you create objects, because the data model you're going to create in your developer sandbox. After testing by several tests by QA people, some people will test first manual testing, QA, automation testing. Okay, later on they will try integration testing with other systems. And later on, if all the tests are passed, then they will move this application to the production. Now, they are going to move this application to production at weekend times, at offline times. For suppose, if your company is in US time zone, all the employees are working in US zone, what they will do at midnight of US timing, means morning time of India. They will do the deployments at the time, because at the time, right, no one will be using the system. Again, they will put a simple notification to all the people saying, this midnight from 3 to 4 p.m. we are going to do this migration of the new changes from sandbox to production. From tomorrow morning, you can see that if all things are going good, if all things went good, from tomorrow you're going to see the new application in your system, in your cloud system. That's going to give some small notification to all the people, to all the end users who are in the system, so that they are not confused and they won't use the system at that midnight time. Most people won't use, but if some people are using, they will start using it at the point of time. That's called sandboxes. Sandboxes are something like, sandboxes are available even for SAP, for Oracle also. The concept is from the whole thing. The sandboxes are also on cloud. Like, you are going to log in with test.salesforce.com for that. So I'm clicking on hello here. So whenever you are using Salesforce API tools, like other applications like Workbench or Charter or Salesforce on mobile application, there is an option saying Workbench is requesting your Salesforce login. They want to allow or deny. You have to click on allow. Same thing we have seen in your Salesforce One mobile application when you are trying to log in. Do you remember that? When you are trying to log in with your mobile application, with your credentials, it will ask you, Salesforce One is trying to access your Salesforce data. Do you want me to approve or not? You are going to click on allow. Now I came here to show you the backend tool, how the objects are there and how you can query the data here directly in your organization, from your organization. Just click on SOQL query. Here, this is like a browser-based tool for accessing the backend data. Okay, and select the Foodie object, because we have created the Foodie object, right? Select the Foodie object. Now I want to see all the records available in the backend, how they are looking like. Okay. Select the F. It's in the order of in alphabetical order. I'm selecting the Foodie object. Why I'm not seeing here? Did I log into other? Okay. Yeah, because all the custom objects are appended with book9 __. Still, this is pending. I didn't explain you why this is added like this. Let's go and check the Foodie object. Here is the F is here, Foodie object. And click on select. Now I can see what all the fields available in the backend. So this is your database query. Okay, this is your database fields, the backend. If you remember, we have created only 6 to 7 fields in the Foodie object, but you are going to see many fields which you have not created and which are created by default by Salesforce. So coming here from book9 address 1 to book longitude, phone number, till here you have created, right? Till here you have created address 1, address 2, city, email, interest, location, latitude, longitude, and phone number, and the name field also. This is field. Okay. Till here you have created the custom fields. What are all these fields? So if you are really problem in seeing this, I can copy it to my new editor. So this is the query which we have received from the Workbench store automatically by selecting all the fields from the SOQL query. That is you can query the data from this. So this is the object name. Select. So the custom fields. Sorry, what I can do is I can custom fields. Okay, they're all standard fields, but you don't see this field in the front end also, because connection received by connection set by ID. So each and every object inside Salesforce will be having an ID. That is 18-digit ID. ID, 2 IDs, 15-digit, which is proportional to 18-digit ID, because these two IDs are same. These two IDs are similar. Okay. These two IDs are similar, but for application, when you are trying to access in the front end, you are going to see 15-digit ID. When you are going to see the ID in the back end, it will be 18-digit ID. Okay, when you are accessing the things with APIs, right? Each and every record will be linked. It will be shown in 18-digit IDs. There is a converter also for converting 16-digit to 18-digit ID. These things are really similar. You are going to append a static code based on the object at the start of 16-digit ID, 8-digit code, which makes it 18-digit ID. Okay. And so if you see created date, when this is created, so you are not going to create a separate date field to check whether this record is created on this date. So automatically it applies this created date also. ID is the standard field which I said to you is deleted. This field is really important. For suppose in your Windows system, when you're deleting a movie file, this is going to sit in your recycle bin, but this is not going to be removed from your system. It's stored in some C folder. Okay, and again when you empty your recycle bin, then all of your records will be gone out of the system, right? Same way, when you are deleting a record, the records are going to recycle bin again, but they are available in the system saying is deleted equal to true. If the flag is equal to true, means they are deleted from the object and they are sitting in the recycle bin. But still, they are available in the object, but they will simply put a flag saying is deleted equal to true. What is deleted means it is a simple flag saying whether it is deleted or not. If it is equal to true means you are not going to see the data in the application. You are going to see only the data in your recycle bin. So like your Windows system, you are going to see the recycle bin also in our system. Let's click on Home tab. Okay, and coming down, there is this here. For suppose going to check an object, I am going to let's do the foodie object. Okay? I am going to create a foodie record now, and I will delete immediately. I am going to create a foodie object with Sindhu name. Okay? And clicking on save. Now go back to your workbench. Click on query. Now I see this is the workbench. Save to record. To the workbench, I am going to query the query object. Now I have to see all the records what we have created from the first day till today in the system. Scope error, violation of encoding rules. Query. And I am clicking on shift and I am selecting use detail. I am selecting name field also. Sorry. Let's do one thing. Let's select only name field because ID. Or else you can even write also a name. Owner ID and query. I'm going to query on record. Now I'm going to see the ID of the. See what I will do. I will copy this. If I copy this ID, if I come to the Salesforce system and I say I will remove this, and I am copying this ID. This is the ID which I have received from my application thing, right? I'm going to hit here. Now I'm going to see the Kiran record. Do you see the record I copied is Kiran's record only, right? This record is linked with this ID. This is the primary key of everything. And what is this owner ID? Let's do. I will show you how if I copy and if I enter this information in the application, right? So here is the organization, right? So I will click on new tab. I don't want to this. I want to show you the same. Paste here. Click on enter. This is the ID of the user. Okay. Who created that record? Kiran record is created by Sai, right? Here is a Sai. If you come here, if I copy that and if I click on that, see, I see the Sai charter profile here. This is Sai Kiran's charter profile. So each and every record what a person is going to create in the system will be tracked by their ID. Who modified it also you can even. For suppose Sai created the record today. Rao came tomorrow and say that he modified the record with some bad data. You can even identify who modified that record also by a field called last modified by also. See, last modified date, last modified by ID. Who modified their record, the ID will be there. With that ID, I can track the user who modified this record. So it's really, these are all standard fields by Salesforce. Created by ID will show you the who is the owner of this record. Created date will show you the when it's created. Is deleted. Come back to application, and now I am going to remove the Sindhu's record from. Clicking on OK. Sindhu record is getting deleted. You see, Sindhu record is there somewhere around. Yeah, here is the Sindhu record, right, which I created just now. Now I am clicking on query. See, now the record which you have seen is gone out of the system. Okay, where is deleted. Is written equal to true. One second. Let's do one thing. Let's put the filter automatically from here. Have the syntax error here. Where is deleted? Okay, sorry. Is equal to RUV. Just a simple flag. No record. Sorry. Let's do the recycle bin and check on home. So I need to see the record which I removed there. I cannot access that. I cannot access because it's removed from the system, right? I cannot access it now. There is one more tool called SQL Explorer where you can see even the deleted records also which are in the recycle bin. I cannot able to see it on Workbench now. I cannot able to see on Workbench that record. Now clicking on the recycle bin, I can see the record which I have removed from the Foodie object now today. Now I'm clicking on order by. Here is the order by. This is the Petronas, which is account type. Now I'm clicking on F. Clicking on order by. So here is the fully record. Sorry, done a mistake in the name. I kept. I'm selecting this and I'm clicking on undelete. If I'm clicking on undelete means restoring from the database from the recycling bin. If I click on this will be went back to my police object. If you see now, if I run ID comma name comma is deleted from police on query. Now we will get the results of Sindhu also. Yeah, the record is back into my system, right? This is a workbench. I just came here to show you how the database records will be there available in the system backend system. I'm going to share the link to you guys about the workbench. Ping on Charter. You can post if you find some important links or files. Post it in your Charter, which is available for all people, so that other people can learn it about this. Okay. Workbench tool for developers for developers, because this tool is only for developers, because the end users cannot access this because I'm not going to enable the APIs for them. The system admins which is having permission to access the workbench only can use this tool. So you guys are all system admins in my current organization. Even in your personal organizations also, you are system admins. You can use this tool in any of these orgs. Okay. Share. So now this is available in my profile. If I click on my profile, you can see it. But still, I am going to share the same information even in a group by clicking here, study docs, or else yeah, study docs only. Now this is posted to the study documents group. You can access it. This link also from there. Today, and so we came out from going to object, view object. So I just came from police object, right? I came to explain about these fields. Along with this, there are some more standard fields which are not available here, but it's in the backend. You can use it whenever you need for checking their last modified date, period, all this stuff. I explained that now. I'm coming to lookup filters. This scenario I will explain in the other cases. This is only helpful when there is a lookup field inside the system. Okay. But here there is no lookup field. That's the reason it's not enabled here. Validation rules we are just same way we have done validation rules at the on account level, right? Same way you can create validation rules here also. If you see there is a requirement to add validation rules, just add it whenever there is a need. If you are unnecessarily adding a lot of validation rules, that will screw your system. For suppose, when I am trying to create the account object, I don't know why these people have created this field as a required field. Generally, for the better practices, you need to have the required fields at the starting. Means required fields are important fields. You need to keep the fields in the at the first, and later on the unrequired fields. These guys have kept, means I gave access to my participants in the previous pages where they have made this field as required field. Okay, that's the reason. Every time I need to enter this number field, which is don't have any reason. So make sure that when you are creating in validation rules, keep it really simple, and all the required important fields keep it at the top level. Okay. So, and I forgot to explain one more small thing to make the required field option. At the field level, you guys know how to do the option at the field level, right? When you are creating a field, there is a simple checkbox called required. Again, I am showing it to you again. There are two ways you can make the field required. By putting at the field level, if you are making at the field level means you have to, this thing is available to all the people, okay? Don't be confused. First level I am saying, this is the top level and important level. If you are making a field required here at this, for suppose, go to foodie object. So here is the foodie object. Now I am making the email field as a required field. By clicking on this, I am opening the properties of email. Here is the required option. Same way, you can see this field when you are creating a field from the create object new. If you click on new button, you are going to create some new key step field creation, right? There also you can see this option. See, I'm checking here. This field is always required for all the people in the system. This field is always required for all the people in the system. So this is the top level required option. Now I'm going to remove this. If I make this here right, this email field should be entered by all the people in the system. Everyone should enter it. For suppose some people don't have email address. So for suppose Indian people will use email address a lot. US people use a lot. What about some people in South Africa or something like that? They don't have email access, all this stuff. They just want to create a simple foodie record with name and phone number. Then you want to make email field not required for them. It's not possible if you made it at the top level. Now you have to do one more thing. Now I am going to create two page layouts. View page layouts. Again, now please make a note. For an object, there can be a number of page layouts. There should be at least one page layout. That's the better thing. There should be at least one page layout. Means you can have 1 to n page layouts. Okay. This is the first standard layout given by automatically created when you are creating this object. If you click on edit, now I have only one layout. Means all the profiles, all the users in the system will be accessing only this one page layout, right? And if I'm making, now I'm clicking on here, this is the email field. There is a setting button for next to it, right? If I'm clicking on settings button, there is the option again here. So these field properties are at the page layout level. The same properties you can see at the field level also. Do you see the same properties, the similar properties you can see at the field level security also, where whenever you have done that, you cannot modify. You can modify, but this will be applicable for all the profiles, all the things. Now, if I make this required thing, this guys, everyone should enter this one. Click on save. See, the star button is enabled here. Before this, there is no star button before email. If I make this required field, it will be star button. I'll click on save. Now go to the foodie object from the other tab. Now click on new. Now you see the red color field on the top of it. Before, when I'm creating this news record, there is no email, right? See, now if I'm entering the value with directly like Venkat, clicking on save, it will throw error saying this error is coming from the page layout level. Okay, going back again. So I am going to show you this record where there is no email address field. See how this record is saved before. So now again, if I am clicking on edit and if I am clicking on save, this will throw some error. Now I have to put down the value, otherwise it won't save the error. Once, for suppose, the application is done now. Your manager, after 1 month, your manager said that email address field is a required field. Please make it as required. What will happen to all the records available in the system till this 1 month? It won't be affected at all. But whenever you are going to edit the existing records, the page layouts which you are again the page layout, we are opening the page layout, and other time it will ask for email address field. Same thing happened for the Sindhu's record also. First time when I'm creating the record, it's not activated. It's not asking my email address. After some time, I have made the email address field is required at the page layout level. Now it's asking me, even if I'm doing at the field level also, it won't disturb the old records. Whenever I'm updating the old record, that time it will ask me, please enter the email address now. Now you cannot save the record, you cannot update the record without entering the value. Now if I go to other object without doing anything, then the record will be the same thing. So now I come back to this, click on Sindhu's record. Now the record will be the same thing. If I want to update some record, if I want to add some interest for Sindhu, like Mexican food or something, okay, Indian food, I'm clicking on OK and I'm clicking on save. You cannot do this operation without email address. Now you have to enter the email, save this stuff with email address, otherwise it won't save it. Now this is done. Now I'm going to show you creating multiple page layouts for the foodie object. I have shown you a scenario saying American people have email address. Most of the people who are developed countries have email address, but there is a country which don't have email field. I want to store the people's thing without email address. Now, going to the view object. By clicking on view object, I am going to the object level where there are page layouts. Now, I can create multiple page layouts. By clicking on new page layout, I can create the page layout from scratch, or I can copy the layout from the existing layout also. So if I am not mapping any existing layout and clicking on save, that's a new page layout, completely new page layout from scratch, where the fields are not added to the page layout. Only the standard fields like name field are added to the page layout. Other fields have to add again, drag and drop each and everything to a general way, and I have to do it. I don't want to do that. I want to clone the existing page layout which is available in the system. It is the foodie layout. Now I am saying American foodie. These guys have email address. I want to make this as a required field. Okay, American foodie. I'm clicking on save. So see, if you see, the layout is very similar to the previous layout because I have cloned it. I cloned from the existing layout. I'm clicking on save. I'm not doing any modification here. That's required field here for American guys. Right? Now, I'm going to create one more layout for Indian people. New page layout. I can even clone from America because it's the same thing as foodie. Click on foodie, called Indian foodie. Indian foodie. This is a layout for Indian people. Indian people who want to searching for restaurants. I'm clicking on save. This is also same. This is also required field. Now, what I will do, I will get one more page layout for African people, or some people which you don't know have an email address, called I can go from any of the page layout, right? There's no issue. I can go from any of the existing page layout. Now I am selecting Indian foodie, which is the same dedicated page. Else I don't want to give name of any country. I will put no email foodie, the people with no email addresses. Click on save. Now, this is the new layout for no email guys. People don't have email address. I am going to use this. For suppose undeveloped countries which don't have any internet connection for these people are coming into this layout, this category people. I am clicking on settings. I am clicking on remove option. Click on OK. Okay. So I am clicking on save. This email is not required now. See, there is no star button, star option for this. Now we have 3 layouts. Now here there is a page layout assignment. This is a really important thing. You have created the page layouts for a number of people. For you have created 3 to 4 layouts. You can assign one page layout to as many people as you can, as many profiles. Here you can assign only with profiles only, page layout assignment, page layout assignment. Now each and every profile users are, these are all profiles. Is having the same footy layout. This is the basic layout. Now I'm clicking on edit assignment. Now I'm just selecting system admin, like some of the users like this. Select these 6 things and make it as American foodie. This is converted. For suppose generally water profiles, I will speak about later. This is like an important security concept, right? Profiles is something like some set of settings you can assign to some group of people. If you want to assign some settings, some set of people, you are going to create a profile for them with particular settings, and you are going to all the people who belong to that category to this. For suppose American sales guy. So sorry, sales India. What is India means? Generally, so if your company is expanded, if your company is a multinational company, you divide the people in terms of regions. Like India, India means America region is called India region. APAC means Asia Pacific, like all Asian countries like China, Australia, Singapore comes under that. India also, and EMAR means all the European, not European, Dubai or Saudi Arabia, all this comes under this, and Europe countries. You can make one more group like this, and you can say, for suppose Indian Asia people have different access, have different application access. American people want different application access. You will create different profiles for them. Okay. With different settings, and you are going to assign the profile to them. All the China people will be assigned to all the American users will be assigned to American profiles. All the China people will be assigned to China profiles. Means they have that particular access. Now I am doing the same thing. These all belongs to American user profiles. All the American users are assigned to these profiles. Then I am assigning to this. Generally, as this is a basic organization, I have not created here. So this is the Indian system admin. So I want to make these people as Indian. Select by clicking on shift, you can select multiple layouts here, and I can make it as Indian footy record. Okay. So now this is content Indian record. Same way, think this is Chinese or no email record option. Sorry. Select this and make it as no email required. Okay, no email required. Click on save. Custom system administrator is the profile name. What I will do, I am going to assign this profile to one of the users in the current system now. Any of the people are active now? Click on save. Now let's go to some of the users here in my system. Custom system administrator is having no email thing. Who can Rao? I'm considering you in this requirement. I'm clicking on edit on your username, and I'm making. Suppose you will think that you don't have email address. I'm making you as custom system administrator, and I'm clicking on save. Now your complete properties are changed to custom system administrator profile. So what custom system administrator profile have settings, right? That settings you will need now. Can you log into for me, or else can you do one thing? I want to show you how I can log into the systems. How I can log into your system now. I have made the control, right? Right. I'm making you as the presenter now. Can you share your screen for a minute? Can you give me a minute? And because I've assigned you some different profile to you where you are not going to see the email required field which I only assigned to you, but the other people can see the email as a required field in their system, but only you cannot see the email as a required field. Click on Foodies object, click on new, and guys, can you all do from your side also? Try creating a Fourier record from your side. Show, see the, open your page layout. Oh, Because this profile don't have access to the police object. I have to modify the settings. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. How to do that? This is all you'll see the stuff in the coming classes. This person don't have access to the free object. That's the reason he cannot see it. Now going to the custom system, where is raw? So raw all active users. Okay, in all active users you can see he's not admin now, system admin now. He's a custom system administrator, which is having similar permissions. There are a lot of changes here. Clicking on browse profile, I can see the profile name is custom system administrator, which is new profile. And by clicking on this, I can go to the profile name. Even it's linked actually. Even this role is also linked. Now, click on object settings because this guy don't have access. So all the users belongs to this profile will not see the police object, restaurant object because these are created newly. I have to assign these permissions now to this profile users. I'm clicking on police no access. Click on it. Click on edit. So I'm clicking on edit here to change the settings. Okay, I will make him read, create. Okay, read, create, and edit, and I'm not giving the delete option to him. Even though there is a delete option, delete button, he cannot delete it. Now I'm not enabling this option to him. I click on save. Now can you access your system now? So I want to show the control row screen again to you. Yeah. Hey, sorry, you cannot see my screen. Sorry. Now click and refresh. Can you see the screen, Sai? Click on refresh. Yeah, now he sees police object. Click on police. Guys, can you open your also police object and can you try creating the, click on new. Click on new. This person, Rao cannot see the email as a required field. He can directly enter the police object. See, the email is not required here because I have created separate profile for separate page layout for assigning to these profile users. Same thing. So you can save the record by clicking on save. You can save the record without email address. Click on save. Same thing. If you try to do it, you cannot save because there is an email required field for you guys. What I did is there can be a number of people in the system. I am giving some different set of security settings to different profile users. Okay. Now you click on save. And again, he cannot see the report because there is no proper settings for this person to view this report. Okay. Okay. And showing my same screen now. I'm making me as a presenter. Show my screen. Now, if I go to fully object, I have not done any changes now. Click on new. The email is required field for me. Only for Rao, this is like this because I have assigned different profile name for him to allow him to enter the data without email field. Now, if I'm trying to save the record without email field, it will throw error. Only for all the other people also, even for you guys also, you cannot enter the data without email. That's how we are doing with page layouts, by assigning different page layouts for different set of profile users. Where with this I'm differentiating the front-end user interface for different people. Okay. So each and every country has different regulations. That's why you have to change your account information or account layouts. You have to change. The taxing rules are different for India and US. In the financial application, you have to change everything based on their country preferences. Now I'm going to show one more thing. For suppose Rao has an issue, so I'm making him as a presenter. So he says there's a problem with my application where I cannot see restaurant object. I will ask him to share his screen. Generally, if there is no GTM application or something like that, how can a system administrator can log into his system? GTM is a separate application, right? There is one more option. So I'm taking the mouse controls of this person now. Otherwise, I will click on direct him. Can you click on RAW drop down? Here is the RAW drop down, right? Your name is there, right? RAO. No, don't give mouse controls to me. It's okay. Click on. I'm going to direct you. Close it. Close this. So, can you go to the RAW drop down here? Next to setup. Click on that. Yeah. Can you click on close this? Close this. Can you click on RAW drop down? There is a RAW drop down, right? Arrow mark, down arrow mark. Okay, can you click on setup? Click on setup, please. Yeah, now go to your no. Can you click on RAW drop down next to setup? I'll take the control. Sorry. Okay. Do you mouse control me? How you doing? Can you do control to me for mouse and keyboard? I'm going to request mouse controls. Okay, I have done it. Can you click on OK? Yeah, thanks. My profile, sorry, my settings. Yeah, I'm clicking on my settings now. There is an option for giving grant access permissions to your administrators so that your administrator can log in as you. Okay. sorry guys, it's a little slow. Now I'm seeing the personal settings of RAW. Now open this personal options, expand this by clicking on this, it will be expand. Yeah, now there is option. Sorry, now there is option of grant access permissions. Can you click on the box? Can you click on personal? Yeah. Yeah, by clicking on this grant account login access to, you can give grant access login permissions to your system administrator or Salesforce system administrator also, because there are multiple levels of support. For suppose if there is a basic login access issue, first you will contact your company administrator. Who is your company administrator? Myself, Sai, all our system admins. They can get login access of you. Okay, all the system admin profile users will have access of your application now. Guys, everyone in the system can do this. Please do it from your side so that I can log into your application at any point of time to show you how the things are getting affected in the application. Now I'm giving access for a year, for a month, okay, for a year. Because I can, for suppose there's the issue, I can give it only for a day. General case, I will give it only for a day, but in this case, I'm giving for a year. So the second is for Salesforce support. Who is Salesforce support? The application what we are using is Salesforce, right? If there's a complex issue which is not fixed by your administrator, now you're going to raise a ticket to Salesforce support guys. Then they will ask the grant access permissions to them. Now you can give the grant access permissions to the users for a day or two or a week to fix the issue. Okay, first you have to give to your admin, later on you have to give it to the, if it is not fixed yet, you have to talk to the Salesforce support. Your system admin will take care about that, whether to go with the Salesforce support or not. Okay, and coming to the Evernote support, what is Evernote support? So we have installed the application from Evernote. Evernote is a company for taking notes at the meetings, okay, from your iPad or things, and you can sync it with Salesforce.com. And Synoti is a application where you can integrate your phone with Salesforce.com, where you can directly call from your Salesforce system. For a call center applications, you use Synoti application, right? That is a support. You can give access even for them also. If you are giving access to them, right, they will have access only to their application data, not to all our application data, right? They can only log into your system for their application support, for a Symphony application. If you see, these two applications are Apache applications which I have installed in my system. Okay. Now I'm clicking on save. I'm not giving any of the access to other people, only to me only I'm giving it. The system administration. I click on save, right? Now I'm making me as the presenter now, and I will show you what will happen now. Okay. If I come to my system, if I go to all users, right? If I go to all users now, I'm going to the all users system screen, where in this case I can see the login option for this person. For RAW, right, I have a login option. For other people, I don't see this option because they are not giving access to me now. But I am asking you, each and everyone has to, you can give access to me. You can give access to system administrator. Your system administrator means anyone in this group can log in with other person's login also. I'll show you how to do it. By clicking on users, you can see all the users profiles, right? All active users. Now, I have given login permissions to all the people. If you can see, now go to active users, there is a login button. If you click on login, right, you guys can log in as me. This is sub login. First of all, you are logging to Salesforce. That's one top layer login. You are going to access the system. Now, if you are coming to user as your system admin, right, we have special permissions to log in as other user also. For suppose, this is my system, right? This is my login. Venkat become login. Now I'm going to log in as Rao. So just now I have given access from Kondal Rao's login. I have made Venkat can log in to this application. Not Venkat. All the system admins can log in to this guy for a year. Clicking on login. By clicking on login button here, see now the application will completely change it to the Rao's application. See, login as Rao. This is the username, and the application is this. If you see, earlier it's changed as Venkat, right? Now I have the secondary login inside my thing. This is secondary login. As a system admin, I have this special feature. If the user has given grant login and access permission to the system admins, to the company system admins. Now I can see. So Kondal Rao have given access saying he is the end user for me. He said that I don't see the restaurant application, restaurant tab and check-in tab. He raised the case with me. I said, please give access to me. He given access to me, and I'm going to check the application. Now I don't see the. I click on plus sign. I'm going to see the issue now. I will see that there is no restaurant tab. Here there is no restaurant tab here. He has only foodies tab. I found that issue is because he don't have access to the application. Because some people cannot tell the problem exactly what they are facing, right? But when they give access to system admins, the system admins will easily know what the issue is, and he will log out of this thing. Click on here, click on log out. If you click on log out, you'll come back to you can come back to your login. This is the internal, so you are logging as the other user for only short period of time to check what the issue is. Now come to the Rao's profile. Here is the Rao, right? You found the issue that this guy is not having access of object permissions, and you're going to give access permissions now. Permissions, no access. Click on this. Click on edit. Whenever you go, so it's taking some time to load. Okay, click on edit. So URL modify all. I'm giving URL modify all is only available for admins. If I'm giving this option modify all, see everything is checked except create. I'm giving create also. URL modify all permission is available only for system admins or special admins who can modify every person's data. You can see every data, and you can even modify every person's data also. For suppose in the private sharing model, all the records created by you can only delete it, or you can only modify it, or something like this. There are different set of permissions. For suppose I can give only read permissions to some users. I can give only create permissions, but cannot delete permissions for some users. Okay, by disabling the button in the page layout, or by disabling the field level security directly on the object permissions here, I can do that. Now I'm clicking on save. Okay, now the issue is fixed for Rao. Now we can see the restaurants tab. Again, he is asking for the fully tab also. I want to fix this also. Now going back to the object settings, by clicking here I can set the particular object called check-in. He is check-in, no access. Click on this. Again, I want to give create option for him, for this person. Not all the options. Not all the options, only create options. I am going to give create, create. Okay. I'm not going to give option of create also and delete also. Okay. See, please remember, for restaurant object I gave a lot of options. For check-in object I gave only read and create. Okay. I'm clicking on save. If you remember this option, I can show you how things will be different based on the settings what I'm giving here. Now go back to the users and log in as Rao now again. I'm logging in as Rao with the grant access permissions given by him. Clicking on login. Now I see all the tabs for Rao. right? You know what is the issue earlier. I have assigned different profile which is not having permissions of foodies restaurant second object. Now I have enabled permissions for him. Now he can access it. And coming to restaurants, he can see he has all permissions. He can see all the data. Okay. If you go to check-ins, he can create new check-in by selecting the foodie. But he cannot Nandini. Okay, click on satisfaction score is 89%. He is satisfied. Mexican food is good here. Our starters are good here. So click on save. He given some tip also. Now if you see, I have removed edit and delete permission. He can only create. Create means clone also comes under create only, right? So he can only create, he can only read the option. Here you are reading the current check-in record, C00000015 record. You are viewing the record and you are creating the record. You already created a record, this record. So by clicking on clone, you can create one more record, but you cannot delete, you cannot edit the record. This permission have specially given for check-in. If you see, I have given only first two permissions, read and create. That is the reason you cannot delete this record. That button is automatically disabled based on the profile permissions, what is assigned to this particular person. There can be, see, a profile can contain hundreds of users, thousands of users also. All the thousands of users can have the same permission, where they can create only check-ins, but they cannot edit and delete. But if you see the administrators like Sai, Manasa, me, and other person Ram, right? They can create, delete also. They can even edit also. All this stuff. So just today in this morning class only, I have modified this profile name. I will roll back the changes again for Rav also, just for explaining the scenarios I am using Rav's profile. Now clicking on saving one more record, 2, 3. Click on save. One more check-in. No match response. Sorry. I have to select the existing check-in. Okay. Click on save. Because again, the important thing is what are lookups? Lookup is something like mapping the existing field, right? So what is foodie lookup? Foodie lookup means you are going to map foodie record here, which are available in the system. If you are trying to enter the name like this, which I did now, like Madhu space 23, which is not available in the system, it will throw the system saying the record is not available in the system. Make sure lookups are only useful to map the existing records. But when I'm clicking on clone, I can also create when I'm mapping here, right? I'm clicking on here. So I can click on delete, go. I can see all the people. I can click on here. I can click on save. There is one more option here to enable new option also in lookups. I will show where to enable that option. That's in settings. Okay. Please hold on for a second. Yeah. So coming back to I will tell you where. So for suppose in some cases, right, I can enable new option also here. Click on check-in. Click on new record. I can only map the existing records like this. By clicking on this, I can only map. Lookups are only meant for this, not for entering your own data like this. Okay. You can search for like if you want to put Manoj MAN, click on search. Only Manoj record will be coming here. If there are millions of records, you can search like this. If there are very less records, you can directly map like this. Okay. It is also same way. You can click on go. He has only 3 access because these records are written by him since. Click on save. Check is done. He did not give any rating, but he went to this restaurant at 10/7/2014. Manoj went to this restaurant, restaurant named IHOP. That's it. He didn't give any review. He can even I cannot modify this because they don't have these permissions, but I can get only new records. Right? These permissions can be controlled at the profile level where I have not given for this person, only for this person. Let's log out of the system. Here is how you can log it out of the system. Okay. For suppose I have opened some other tabs which are in my session, right? So I'm trying to refresh now. See the login. So this is my session. This is our session, right? So I'm clicking on refresh. It automatically changes to here. At a time, only one session will be executed in Salesforce in the same browser. If you want to log in as different person, just open. If you want to open your profile, you can just click on here. Yeah. What I'm doing is here, I'm simply passing my username and password automatically from the URL. It's doing some error for me. Oh, I have new password here. So there is some one more plugin for Salesforce to, for suppose some people will manage around 5 to 10 organizations now. You don't remember passwords of all this. We're going to do this type of URLs and you can directly copy and you can put and enter. You don't need to enter all the username password at a time. Okay. I have sent you the cheat URL parameters parsing thing in chat also. You can refer it. You can pass your username at even after login.salesforce.com, login.salesforce.com hash question mark even equal to your username and PW equal to your password, and click on enter. It automatically logins into your system. Okay. For the first time you are logging from different IP address, it will ask you the 5-digit code same way what you are doing, what the general way it will ask, and otherwise it won't ask. And now, for suppose if you want to see the same sessions in the same system now, then you can do like you can switch between windows. This is the Kondarao session. This is Venkat session. Okay. And if I click on logo, I will come to my session now. If I click on logo, I will come to my session. Right here. And this won't work now. This won't work. If I click on refresh, this won't work. The session is out of RAW now. It's logged in as Venkat. You guys got it? So today we worked on little bit on validation rules, later on with the page layout, multiple page layouts, and assigning them to multiple profiles. By selecting multiple page layout assignment, it's there at the object level. By clicking on page layout assignment, you can assign different page layouts for different profiles. And I have shown you the changes what happened to this. But when I'm explaining the security session, right, I'm going to remove all your system administration permissions and I will assign some different profiles. CEO, CTO, sales manager, sales support manager, all this stuff, and you guys will get more clarity about the settings. For suppose all the subordinates of manager, so all the records of subordinates can be seen by the manager. All this type of settings will work on it with role hierarchy stuff and stuff. But this security things is in the coming week. this week we'll finish all this basic stuff which are required for configuration and data modeling, all this stuff. Okay. So let's do the class for 15 more minutes. So I want to go to the foodies object. We are now done with most of, because the same options are available for all the other objects also. That is the reason I am picking only one object and then applying the same thing, same options. A few things are left, like little lookup filters. That will be explained to you whenever I got the scenario, okay, which is where I need multiple lookup fields. For suppose lookup filters, right? I can do the scenario now. This is really simple. For suppose in the restaurant object, can I display this restaurant object now? Yeah. So I'm going to the restaurant object. So I'm doing like a demo now. You can understand easily because you guys know how to do this stuff, how to create the lookup fields now. I'm going to the restaurant object. So this is the restaurant object. There's one more link in the bottom. Now I'm creating two fields, two relationship fields now. A lookup relationship to account first. I'm getting to account. Click on next. And click on save. Visible to all users. Click on next. Check this option. Click on next. And these are all page layouts of account object. Means when I'm creating a child object, right? It will ask, because generally it will ask only one option, but the account has a number of page layouts like this. It has more than 12 page layouts. It's saying whether I need to add this relation, whether I need to add the restaurant object as the related list item of these objects of these page layouts or not. I have shown you if you get multiple page layouts for an object. Each and every page layout will have a related list item, right? What are related items? What are related lists? Related lists are child objects of the current object. In the current scenario, I am creating relationship from restaurant to account. Means restaurant to account. Account is the parent object. Restaurant is the child object. Here I have the simple setting option here to add related list, the restaurant related list to the accounts. Okay. If I am selecting all these options, see, I want to add it to big account layout. Personal account I am removing, small account I am removing. Okay. I am clicking on save. Now big account will be having little list items as restaurant. The other small and the personal thing which is assigned to this profile will not be having the restaurant related list. What are related list? I'll show it to you. It's really simple. If you are little confused on this, I've already explained in the previous classes. So I'm opening a record, so this might be, I don't know what type of, if you come here, see, this might be the big account record type or some account record type, so I have seen the related list here. I can get a new restaurant option here called Anupama. Email is required field. That's the reason I'm giving some dummy email address with @ symbol. Generally, email address should be in this format. The domain name before that, this is the domain name, this is before that should be at the rate, and there should be some first name or some name should be there. Clicking on save, there is no validation rules over this here, I think so. Yeah, it's done. So now if you go to the account, here is the account. So now if you come down, you see the red list item here, Anupama, which I just created now for with this account. And my requirement is to show you the lookup filters. When are we using it? I'm getting one more field in the restaurant object called lookup relationship to the contact object. To the contact object. The contact object. Site, right? And I'm clicking on. So here is the lookup filters option. Click on this. Okay. Here I'm saying restaurant's account. Restaurant account equals yeah. Simple scenario. I inserted it. I'm using this clear option. I'm clearing it. Okay, I'm clicking on save. Have kept a simple filter saying, show me only contacts which are related to this account. Okay, show me only the contacts which are equal to the. Oh, I have not added here. Okay, restaurant account. I'm clicking on save. Enable this filter. Click on save. And being visible to all people. Also, that's the reason why this is really important. Okay, why this is really important. Same way, there are 4 types of contact related lists. I'm adding the related list item of restaurant under contact object page layout. Okay, click on save. Now go back to the restaurants. I'm going to create the data now. Create new, and there are 2 new fields now for us. Now I'm going to create a name called Starbucks, and email is star@starbucks.com. Dummy email address. I'm coming down. Here's the account lookup. Select by clicking on this. For suppose I'm selecting ERM Clouds account. If I'm selecting this particular account, this is a filter. I have a filter on the contact object saying, get me only the contacts which are related to this account. Okay, click on this. Now I have only one account. See, very specific contact which are, see, Venkat customer RE. This is the first name, this is the last name. I will show you after a minute to you. Okay, click on this, click on save. I will tell you what is the reason. Generally, this is really important in the case of this also. When you are creating a case, you are linking the case with an account and the contact. For suppose you are a service manager of AT&T, company called Starbucks. Sorry, not Starbucks. Some company, affiliate company, came to AT&T and asked about multiple 500 orders of phone, and they have an issue. Okay, and for this account, the point of contact is Rav is the point of contact for this account. Okay, Rav is an employee of that XYZ account. XYZ is a company, your customer company, and Rav is the contact person of this. Rav might be CTO of that XYZ company. He is a contact of that account. And there is one more person called Ram also. Okay, Ram is the CTO, Rav is some CFO. So these are point of contact people. Okay, these are all contacts. For suppose if I'm selecting as account equal to, when I'm creating a case or when I'm creating a restaurant, if I'm selecting account equal to XYZ in my current organization, I don't want to see in the context lookup. I don't want to see all the millions of contacts in my system. I do want to see only the contacts of that particular XYZ account. Do you got it? There might be millions of contacts. General organizations will have billions of contacts. Okay, lakhs and lakhs of contacts. Okay, I don't want to see all the contacts in the lookup. I want to see only the contacts of the particular account which you have selected on the top field. Account which you have selected XYZ account in the top field. I want to show only Rav and Ram, because there are only two contacts for this XYZ account. I want to show only these two. That's the same thing happened here. If you go to the, see, this is the contact name, right? If you go to this ERM customer, I will tell you what happened. ERM is the customer. ERM is the company. ERM customer is the account name. Coming down, there is a contact, only one contact. For suppose I am creating one more contact for ERM customer. Okay. So I will tell you what will happen. Generally, these are all contacts available in the system. But when I'm selecting the lookup option in my restaurant object, right, I have seen only one Venkat customer, Venkat, right? This is the only one contact which I have seen at the lookup level. Let's do one more thing. This scenario will help you out. There's one more person called Manas who is working for the same company, ERM. Manas. I'm clicking on email address of something like I'm clicking on save. I'm clicking on clone, and I'm clicking Sai also. He's working with the same company, Sai Kiran. Okay, I'm clicking on save. And I'm cleaning, so I'm cloning one more. So now I'm cleaning a restaurant now. Sorry, let's go back and check whether we need to the correct or not. Oh, the account name is missing here. Sorry, guys. ERM customer, click on save. For months also I have to do this. I'll get one more record per month. Okay, I'm getting new record. Okay, ERM. This is the new account. Previous thing you have not linked with this particular account. ERM. Remember it. And I'm going one more. Sindhu. I will tell what will happen now. I will try to use this contact now. Click on save. Now go back to the restaurants tab. Click on new. See, there are around 50-60 contacts in my organization. Okay, but what will happen now? I will tell you. I'm getting a new restaurant called Burger King. b@b.com, and what's my account name? So this restaurant belongs to this account name. I'm mapping ERM customer. So now the filter will be applied on the contact object, and if I'm clicking on this, I see only this 4 people. See, do you remember? Because this filter is applying here and it's showing only the account contact, this particular account contacts, not all the contacts. Okay, that is the special of this lookup filter. You guys got it? Now I can select only this particular contact. Generally, if I am not creating this lookup filter, what will happen is it will show all the contacts. Again, I have to search for this particular account contacts and I have to map it. There might be some mistakes happened. Sometimes, if there is a Manasa in some other company also, I can map that contact also. That will give you really bad results because the case is raised by account called ERM customer Manasa, but you are mapping the contact of some other company Manasa record or single record. Let's do one thing. Let's remove the filter and what will happen. We will check it. Go to restaurant object, view object. Let's remove the filter and try what will happen. Okay. Here is the you see there is option for saying the lookup filter is added here. If you come down, so come down here, click on edit, lookup filters. So I'm just clearing this stuff. I'm clicking on clear. By clearing this, it's done. I'm clicking on save. I'll go back to the account. So I'm clicking on refresh here. I'm not saving the record. Okay. Now I'm clicking the same new record called Burger King only. Burger King 2 b at bg.com. Coming down and selecting. See, there is no option now here. There is no option like lookup. Lookup is there, but earlier there is a ash color option is there for it. I'm selecting ERM customer now. Okay. If I'm selecting lookup, see, what will happen? It will show all the records. How if I select some different account record, this is really bad, right? The account which I selected on the top field is ERM customer. I should select this Manasa. What if I'm selecting this Manasa? It's waste of time for the customer. So I have to show the drill down very specific contacts which are related to this particular account. Right? That's how the lookup filters will work. If you go to the contact object, you can see the lookup. If you click on this, you get the lookup filters. No, it's not here. Now I'm enabling this option again. The filter I'm enabling it again. I'm closing the class after this. Sorry guys for dragging this up. Okay. Insert the criteria. This is the best criteria which is useful for us. Okay. I'm clicking on save. Right. And now go back to the contacts, lookup filters. Yeah, see, it appears here saying this contact lookup filter is on source object is a restaurant object, and this is related to stuff. Okay. Lookup filters is so this option is you cannot create on the restaurant object. You cannot create here. You click on view object. So if the same thing happening if some guy is using restaurant relatively statement somewhere else, that option is showed here. No unlimited lookup filters for this particular object. As I am linking here for contact object, right? That's the lookup filters is shown on the contact object. Got it? Got it? Okay. Let's wrap the class for today. You guys have any questions? This class. So slowly we'll finish all the custom configuration part. Slowly after finishing the object thing, I'm going to explain all the setup menu by showing all the options to you. Okay. By expanding this, there are many standard objects, and what are the features, all this stuff I explain in two classes. That requires two classes because there are a lot of options and objects. Each and every object have different functional advantage. Okay. The usage of it is different completely. Okay. I will explain that after finishing the object configurations. I will explain this. Later on, we can work on one by one. So after that, we work on security also, which is here. So in the administration option, security settings is here. This is also comes under security profiles, roles, all this stuff. That's a very big concept. It will take up to 3 to 4 classes for explaining the security model. So we are not going to do only theoretically. Here we are going to do practically by assigning different roles to the system. Let's do it. Let's try to finish this all the security on the configuration, customization of this is called customization. What is customization? So existing these are all objects created by Salesforce. You are going to customize little bit. Okay. There are a lot of important features also. Everything we can work on. So I will try to share the playlist of this recorded videos also by end of today. I already shared with Sindhu or Sneha, I don't know. Okay. Thanks for the call. Bye.